Hello and welcome to the show. We are back in Italy with more of your automation cars, taking on the nasty, dusty rally stage. We start with a vehicle built by German cars. It's called Karl. What a name for a very, very wide Porsche. A very wide Porsche indeed. We saw a few of these run in the autocross competition. I mean, this is... it's incredibly wide. Some of the largest tyres you will see on a vehicle. They're about as big as they can get. Actually, what tyres are they even? I am not sure. I can't move the wheels because I'm in pause for this. Push rod at the front. At the back, we have got a 3.5 litre turbocharged flat 6, the largest engine we'll have today, and is also the most powerful car, 478 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive. Brakes seem decent size as well. Expense-wise, it was $3 under the $15,000 budget. I'm not sure. I mean, this has got push-rod suspension, big engine, decent brakes. I'm not sure where the cost-cutting might have had to come with this one, but yeah, it looks like a pretty competent car. Let's hope that it is good to drive. I am genuinely concerned about the width of the car. We saw some of these wide-body Porsches, very easy to clip. I mean, it is literally as wide as the road down there. We did see some of these wide Porsches have issues on the automation. It's just so easy to snag a bit of concrete. And, I mean, okay, admittedly, we're probably a little wider here than we were for some of the... I say we're a little wider, and we're also a little bit less forgiving here than the autocross stage. The autocross stage, you could get away with escaping out of some of the corners without any penalty. Here, you escape out of a corner, and you are visiting a tree or a rock face. We're going to chuck that into the hairpin. Okay, good news. Engine, lovely. There's actually a really nice engine in this one. Yes, it's turbocharged, but I'm not having any problems getting the power down in the car. It's getting out of the hairpins. Oh, I skated into the chicane wrong there, but I mean, we skated into it a little bit wrong. However, we got through without clipping anything, which in some cases is a win on its own. Yeah, the engine is doing a very, very nice job of getting the power down out of the hairpins. It's making the most of its power. It doesn't really feel like a 470 horsepower car in some respects. That it's not absurdly... Oh, and I've got a bit carried away with the oversteer. Bugger. Yeah, that was my bad. That was my bad indeed. We just pushed it a smidge too hard, and the back end let go. 23. Oh, we're gonna go for a flip across the fields. I was probably that wasn't even all that sideways from the car, but it's just enough. Perhaps that rear engine, just once the weight starts moving around, it's going around. Very, very nice car to drive, though. Gotta say. Well, I don't think. I mean, yeah, okay, we spun, we lost some time. We might have lost 3 or 4 seconds. We're not going to be challenging the Scarab or the Sunburst. The Sunburst still the fastest car down here, only just though. A 1:15.2 is the 1:15.29 to be precise is the time to try and beat. I don't think Karl here is going to be fast enough. That being said, this is probably one of my favourite of the automation cars we've had to drive so far. It does work fantastically well. The engine is nice and accessible, the power band is sensible, the handling is good. The car's not bobbling horribly. I mean, it bounces around a little bit. It does make the course look a little bumpier than it perhaps actually is. I'm guessing quite stiff suspension, but it's not bobbling around in a way to throw the car off. It's not throwing the car, out of position all that much. Engine power is delivered nicely out of the hairpins. We get going pretty swiftly. Brakes are not bad. Yeah, I don't know where you would improve upon this, I'll be honest with you. But, oh, that's a slide and a half. Yeah, we've got to be careful that the back end doesn't get away from you in a couple of places. Oh, hey, kept it together, just. I mean, the arse hung off the cliff, but we didn't have a worse accident than... Well, we had a better accident than last time. I mean, you don't really want an accident, and we probably lost a little bit of time doing that, but yeah, it could have been a lot worse. I think perhaps we might overall lack a little bit of grip to some of the real fastest cars. That might be where we lose a little bit of time. It's a 19.7. I think there's a little bit more to come from the car as it bounces and bobbles its way across the finish line. What tyres are we on? Ooh. Are they... I'm not sure if they're semi-slicks. They're certainly different to the normal ones we've seen. Some sort of sports tyre. Definitely not off-road. They're not cheap budget road tyres. They're working. Whether the tyres are working or whether it's because the car's got the widest tyres ever fitted to a car. I don't know. But, yeah, they're certainly working. We've got one more try. I think 18s, maybe even 17s are quite possible with this if you get everything right, but 15s are, I think, out of the question. Yeah, I mean, this is a good handling car. It probably is my favourite of the automation ones so far that have driven. And I'm not sure where it's lacking the speed almost in comparison to the Scarab. That's very sideways that I'd rather not be doing. Although this little bit more predictable, you know, a little bit less worried if it goes slightly wrong. I've got a little bit more rev range actually to play with in terms of getting the power down. We're going right into a left-hander, not ideal through all of that. I daren't be flat through here, especially not when we're kind of needing a good final run. We'd be very close to being able to take it. We brush the rock through there. That is the downside of the incredibly wide back of the car. It's so easy. You can have got the front of the car through a corner absolutely fine, and then you're in trouble with the back. I'm glad. I was kind of fearing we'd end up hitting the rock face through there. We have clipped it with a couple of cars before. Sliding around and this being so wide, but we've got away with it. Now, the final stretch. I'm going to brake a little bit early, kind of chuck it in through the first part of this chicane so I can get on the power for the exit. It's a good run towards the finish line. 18.3 for Karl, and 18.33. It's a good time down there. As I said, absolutely fantastic car to drive. Yeah, that's kind of about what there is with the vehicle. Still a little way off the Scarab. But yeah, excellent fun to drive. Didn't catch its incredibly wide wheel arches on as much as I feared it might do. I hope you like rally lights, because our next car has got plenty. Built by DBs, it is the Nordic Wolf. Yeah, interesting selection of rally lights around the vehicle. As far as the engine goes, 2.5 litre flat 4 up at the front, 428 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive. Tyre-wise, we have got different ones again on this vehicle. I mean, we've got a decently sized mic. We've kind of got two wings going on the back that face through each other and made a weird contraption over there. We've got push rod at the rear in this one, and something sporty up at the front. Brake wise, yeah, decent sized brakes. So a fairly sensible build all round by the looks of it. I'm hoping it'll be again pretty fast through the course. It's got amazing amounts of rally lights, which we know will make a vehicle faster. I think that just lost the splitter, but not going to worry too much about the splitter on the car. Oh, I've turned in too soon. We got away with that. Actually, again, another very nice driving car. It's behaving well. The tyres seem to be working on this one. Now, where am I going to have to brake? Probably earlier than that, or we're going to have to chuck the car. Yeah, we're going to have to chuck the... Well, we're going to have to get it slowed quicker than that, or better than that. The hairpin braking zones are terrifying. It's just about everything. Like, even very... Oh... That's not ideal. That is definitely not what you want. We're reliant now. And there it goes. I think that wheel got like wedged under the car as we were going. It's still amazingly working. Again, actually, it was a good handling car until I took a wheel off of it. It was going quite well, and then it very much didn't. Bugger, we're going to have another wobble, and yeah, we're just going to park it in a field. I'm not going to learn anything else about the run here. Started off well, went a little bit iffy. Braking is scary as anything, although that's not exactly rare with these automation cars. One of the toughest things on this stage is getting the braking right into the two hairpins. We find very easy to be going. Well, very easy to be going left to a right-hander, right towards a left-hander, and scrabbling to try and get under control. So we'll have to do our best to see what we can get away with. I think that one of the problems we come across with a lot of the automation cars is the brake pressures required to lock up are very fiddly. Like, there's only a tiny amount of brake pressure required to lock the car up, and if you get it wrong, well, you know, lock up's going to be bad on dirt, especially when you've got a slight sort of kink almost towards the corner. and you've got to be so precise with the brakes, and the dirt makes it just that little bit worse than even a normal tarmac route. But you can't have ABS. Well, you can if you've got very, very good brakes and whatnot. You can just get away with ABS being safer, but ABS on the dirt with these cars is iffy as well. So getting the vehicle slowed down is probably one of the most important parts on this stage. What is the engine like out of the hairpins in this? Yeah, pretty solid. Not really struggling with turbo lag in this either, which is nice as we head through the chicane. Oh, this is looking quick. This is quick. 16.3 from the Nordic Wolf. A very big crash after the finish line. Christ. I mean, it was going okay after the finish line, and then it just didn't. And then it is just, yeah, cartwheeled away in all of that. We got the first hairpin right. The second hairpin got a little bit scary. Into the 16s, though, is quick. We're a second away from the Scarab, from the Sunburst. If I get everything, I say if I get everything perfect. I mean, getting everything perfect on this rally stage with anything is difficult. And this is the final chance for the car. We lost a wheel on the first one. We were very quick on the second run. Can I get everything right on the final run? Can we get any more speed out of the vehicle? Let's try and be careful with the car through these opening corners. It's weird, like, it doesn't feel as fast as the previous car. The previous vehicle, good old Karl, felt very, very quick down here, and this does not feel quite as rapid, yet it is clearly faster. Sometimes trying to judge cars is difficult, especially, I guess, in these sort of stages, it is not the easiest of things to judge. So, handbrake doesn't really seem to do much with this one. We've seen that quite a lot. I've seen it quite a lot with automation cars in general, but it would probably be a little bit more effective or a bit more of an impact here than I've seen elsewhere. The handbrake not working. Sometimes it doesn't seem to be able to lock up the rear wheels. I don't know whether that's to do with brake pressures or something like that in the way the cars are built. Oh, don't understeer. So what was that rock? That was a lot of mid-corner understeer that I wasn't quite ready for. Let's get a little bit of the old Scandinavian flick going on through there. It's another good turbo engine, this. It's another good turbo engine. The turbo flat engines have been pretty good for getting that power delivery sorted. Here we go. What are we doing speed-wise? It's going to be close. It's done it! The Nordic Wolf becomes the first vehicle to beat the Sunburst. A 1:14.9 set by the car. Oh, that was a good run. I'm pleased with that. And even, to be fair, as pleased as I am with that run, it wasn't actually quite 100% perfect, but still, it did the job. It did the job. We lost the splitter. It's actually taken a little bit of a whack at the front of the car. Yeah, that doesn't feel like the car. It doesn't feel immensely fast. It just works. At the end of the day, that's what matters. As long as it works, doesn't matter how fast it feels, as long as it works. And the Nordic Wolf has gone to the top of the table. Well, the Nordic Wolf is going to be a difficult act to follow. The car that it falls to is the Humuris Rally Mark II, built by Festa, a 366 horsepower all-wheel drive machine. Again, kind of using the sports car body, very high suspension, which does concern me. Very high suspension indeed. 2-litre turbocharged i4 up at the front. Kind of looks tiny inside this vehicle's. But I guess this body style built for much bigger engines, so you get a little bit lost in all of that. Again, all-wheel drive, decent amount of power. What tyres has this got on it? This might have semi-slicks. I think the Karl may well have had sort of sports tyres. These, oh, maybe it doesn't got semi-slicks. I don't know. I've got different tyres on this again, so we've had 3 cars. It is slightly rolling forward. I'm not sure. I mean, we've got a slight cheaty advantage going on there. Oh, it doesn't turn. Okay, it doesn't actually turn. That's not ideal. Not going to lie. We do need to be able to get the car into a corner. That is understeer central. That was very slow when we fell off the road. What am I learning about the car? It doesn't actually make a corner. It really, really doesn't make a corner. That's an issue. That is quite a big issue around here. We're going to have to be very, very careful with this if we are going to be getting. I mean, I feel like I'm going to have to go very, very early on the brakes here. The handbrake does work at least, which is something. The engine seems to be pulling out of these corners quite nicely as well. We haven't got crazy turbo lag, which surprised me considering we've had, well, 3 turbo cars. We've had quite a lot of turbo cars with issues, and all of the turbo cars today have been well behaved. We get through the back chicane quite nicely, which is a surprise actually. I thought I was going to have a lot more troubles. I don't really want to have to start chucking the car around because I'm not sure I really trust it. I guess it might be something we have to do. We will in the hairpins 100% have to do that. And there we go, out of the corner. I think it's struggling, whatever the tyres this is on, they're not working, I don't think, for the vehicle. Into the back chicane we go. It's got better as the run's gone on. Well, either I've got more used to it, or it's got better as the run's gone on. 34. Okay, a little bit of a doesn't count first round. What tyres are you on? I don't actually know what tyres those are, but they are very different to everything else. They might be cheap tyres. It's possible they. I think the tyres might be what's screwing it. Like the suspension is the suspension might not be helping. It's not wobbly. We've had a lot worse in terms of the wobbly suspension department. We've had a lot worse with sort of body roll throwing the car around almost. That's not doing that here, but it doesn't have any grip. It just doesn't have any grip. Certainly at the start of this course, I can't take these corners with any sort of speed. Well, it doesn't feel like I can. Again, trying to figure out what these cars are doing sometimes is not the easiest. It just does not feel fast through here. We're going to try a slightly different approach through there. That did work. That worked quite nicely for the car. Oh, and there's the big understeer going on. Yeah, if I plan accordingly, I think I can be okay with this. Oh, we're not stopping down there. We're not stopping down there. Bugger. I was trying to find that point of enough brake pressure to stop it, but not too much to lock it up, and that's when we get it wrong the other way. So that was just not enough. That's me not using enough brake. I was probably a little late on the brake as well, which didn't help matters. Oh, we're going to clonk the other wheel. Oh, we can't bend it to match. Oh, the radiator's leaking as well. Yeah, radiator leaking is now a thing for automation cars. I'm not going to learn anything important, anything useful on this final run with the car now as bent and buckled as it is. Okay, we're going to have to brake earlier for the hairpins, certainly, and a lot of care is going to be needed with these corners. I don't think it's going to be challenging the Nordic Wolf. It had a lot to follow, and it's not got the grip to do it. It's not got the grip to do it at all, so it will be just neat and tidy through these first corners. It's undramatic. I say that as we nearly end up off the court. There's just no turning. There is just absolutely no turning for these opening corners, which it slightly baffles me because it doesn't feel as bad once we get to the fast chicane. Tyre temperature, I would not really think would make a difference in all of this. We're going to be nice and early on the brakes. There we go. Oh, no, I've got a wheel in the ditch on the outside. It's not helped. Oh, second gear. I don't know whether I might have wanted first. Pulling away from there. Well, fair enough through that part. Slow it down for this chicane. Yeah, like it doesn't feel any worse than anything else through that chicane, but some of the early corners, it's absolutely horrible. I guess these are slightly fast. I say these are slightly faster corners. This one here isn't. That one there is still also, you know, we're never really going very fast on this rally stage. Round the hairpin we go. Yeah, it doesn't get going out the hairpin at the slightest, which suggests to me tyres might be an issue. We don't really get much information as to what it's doing on this surface. So yeah, I would suspect tyres are a bit garbage. And there we go. That's a difficult car to drive. 23.9 in the end for the Humuris rally. It's just not enough grip. There's not enough grip turning wise. There's not enough traction out of the corners. It's very, very difficult to get around the course. You've got to really, really slow it down. It's not the worst sort of body rolly car we've had to deal with, and it's certainly not the slowest car we've had down here. It does beat the two-wheel drive vehicles, so far at least, that have run. But, yeah, nowhere near enough grip for this rally stage. This funny-looking contraption is the final car to run down the stage today, built by Magnock the Mighty. It's called the FailRace Rally Comp. Interesting with this one, the first car to use or utilise a 4x4 driveline rather than an all-wheel drive. I at some point knew the difference and can't remember now. They are slightly different, so we'll be curious to see how that fares down the course. I think one of them is permanent 50-50, and the other, I think 4x4 is permanent 50-50 power distribution, and all-wheel drive can be changed, something like that. Anyway, whichever way, slightly different driveline. 2.8 litre naturally aspirated V6, sorry, at the front. The first and only naturally aspirated car of the day. 350 horsepower in this, so still pretty powerful going on. It's mad looking, got some pretty big tyres around the place as well. Hoping it might be pretty quick. It might be pretty noisy, that much is for sure. Right, let's see what you do in towards. Brakes are not bad on this, certainly better than the Humuris, and turning is also better than the Humuris. So, don't quite need to turn in that early for that section. We've got some clipping of the rear wheels through the bodywork. To be expected when we start going up for crazy wheels and crazy body. It happens when you go for the crazy extreme bodywork. We have got a lot more moving around, a lot more body roll. I don't think it's not affecting the car as bad as we have seen from some vehicles in the past, but it is not ideal. That's okay. We're actually finding I can get away with a little bit more speed in this than I initially thought into some braking zones, although you only get a very small, as I said, there's a very, very small margin of error here. A mile an hour in a braking zone, a mile an hour difference in braking zone, a few metres in braking point is, yeah, quite a lot down here. Oh, that's a little fast though. We might get away with it. It's quite sideways through all of that. We do survive. I mean, I have to say, all of the cars, engine-wise, have done pretty good getting out of the hairpins. We've not had big lag. We've not had, yeah, the horrible wait to try and utilise any of the power. Aside from the previous cars, just perceivable lack of traction. However, it's not a great first run. It's not a great first run at all. 126. It was certainly a little scruffy in a couple of places. We're going to go for a very, very big roll. There's a bump down there that is catching out some of these automation cars. The sunburst and some cars are okay. It just depends on how you hit it. This has had a massive, massive crash. It's continuing to. Right, not a great first run. Very, very strong convertible roof, mind. I'm impressed at the structural integrity of the convertible bit. Well, not impressed by the structural integrity of the rear bumper. Stop joking about the silly crashes. We're here to race the car, goddammit. We need a lot more speed. We need a lot more speed out of this. Yeah, it was not my finest piece of driving down here. I think we could probably hold it in first, actually, for a little while longer. We're kind of turning it a little bit too soon to some of the corners and braking a little early in places. So there is more speed definitely to be found in the car. It's also not a horrible thing to drive. That's actually quite a nice line through there. We'll be a little wide. It's a funny old corner around there. It kind of widens and then tightens at the exit. Just as it widens, you want to get on the power, and then it starts tightening up again. Really easy to completely balls it up. We actually ended up in neutral through all of that, which wasn't the cleverest thing I've done. Got away with it. It is kind of just panic and hope you can figure out what the hell you've done wrong and get the car back pointing in the right direction. Brakes are surprisingly good on this. I really wasn't expecting it to be as good at getting slowed down as it is. I think that's kind of catching me out in a couple of places almost. Could probably be a little bit braver. I'd say it might just be that the car's not going as fast when we get to some of these braking zones, but it is seeming to slow down quite nicely. Go for a first gear out of here. Don't end up in that ditch. If you fall off the edge of that hairpin, you're done for. It's it's as simple as that. If you've fallen off the edge of the hairpin, you are a goner, and there is nothing more that you can do. It's again not a great run. 23, I say not a great run, it's better. A 23.3, we save 3 seconds off of the time. It's not a great run overall in the grand scheme of things. Again, we'll beat the rear-wheel drive, we'll beat the two-wheel drive cars certainly so far. It's not an awful car to drive whatsoever. It feels considerably better than the Humuris. What tyres has this got on, if I can actually see under all that bodywork somewhere? They look possibly like off-roads. Very difficult to tell, though. No, they're not off-roads. They are... I think they might be the same tyres as the Humuris, actually. Maybe it wasn't just tyres alone that was giving the Humuris issue. Yeah, I'm not actually sure, because they're very difficult to see with so much bodywork. Either way, we've got one more run. We've got one more run to try and find some speed. Try and not mess up the hairpins too much. They have been the area that are giving the car the most trouble. And now, typically, I've been braking too early for a bunch of corners, and then we try and get a little braver, and then we brake a little too late. That's going to give us grief. Not quite. Maybe not quite ideal, mind, but we are into the next corner. Don't get carried away by this particular turn. We are actually got a neat enough run down this part. Early on the brakes here. We're going to be sliding. There's not much I can do once that starts sliding like that. It was a Scandinavian, well, not even a Scandinavian flick, really. That was a twist the car as best I can. It was a little janky into the hairpin, but we got into the hairpin one way or another. Again, it's another car that I'm not quite sure where we're losing as much time. I wonder if it's just not quite as fast as it feels in a couple of places. So where I'm thinking the brakes are really good, it might just be we're not going as fast as some other cars. Come on, get that grip, get that power down as we leave the hairpin. It's certainly not savagely fast down here, although most of the cars haven't been unbelievably quick accelerating. Oh, it's very similar. Uh-oh, that's going to go wrong for it. It's very similar. 23.25 in the end. Yeah, not a terrible car to drive. Doesn't feel as difficult to drive as the Humuris, but speed-wise, very, very similar. Indeed, got to watch out for the hairpins. It's a little bit of a faff to take those. An interesting looking car. Not a terrible driving one, however, yeah, we're not going to be keeping up with the likes of the Nordic Wolf. So, on to the leaderboard, and we have a new first position. The Nordic Wolf will take that spot away, not by very much. I mean, we're only talking about 0.3 of a second over the sunburst, but that is still a very impressive time. We thought it'd be very tough for cars to be competing with the sunburst, let alone beating it. And within 5 episodes, we've got a new leader. Karl was also a pretty damn fast car, though, down here. The very, very wide vehicle will go into a 6th place. The 118.3 puts it just a little bit down behind the crazy accelerating Mini, and it's a little bit faster than the Dragon motors. Yeah, a very, very good car to drive. In many ways, felt about as fast as the Nordic Wolf, but yeah, lap time not quite so much, but a lovely driving vehicle. We have to go a bit further down to find the rest of the vehicles from today. I did say that they were faster than some of the two-wheel drive cars. I might have got that slightly wrong because I forgot about the W90 being so very, very quick indeed. The FailRace Rally Comp will go into a 16th place. Beats the Fun Police with its 23.2, but can't quite beat the Galaxian. The Humuris Rally is down in 18th place. Does beat the Nebula. Loses out, though, to the Fun Police. It just did not have any grip. There was just no grip in that car whatsoever, which is a problem. Quite a big problem when it comes to a rally stage. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.